Have you ever picked up a $9 Harbor Freight drill and thought, how can this thing be so cheap? Right beside it, a DeWalt version costs 10 times more. It seems impossible. But behind that price tag lies one of the most brilliant and controversial business models in retail. This isn't just a story about low prices. It's about a billion-dollar empire built on psychology, global supply chains, and the delicate balance between genius and gamble. Some Harbor Freight tools last decades. Others fail the moment you turn them on. So what's the truth? Let's pull back the curtain on Harbor Freight's dirty little secret and find out which of their tools are worth every penny and which ones you should never touch. The empire built on cheap. Harbor Freight began in 1977 as a small mail-order tool business. 40 years later, it exploded into more than 1,500 stores across the US, pulling in an estimated $6 to $8 billion a year. It's privately owned, so the numbers aren't public. But we know one thing. Founder Eric Schmidt became a billionaire selling the kind of budget tools professionals once mocked. How did that happen? How did a company famous for bargain bin wrenches turn into one of America's biggest hardware retailers? The answer lies far from the aisles of the store, in the factories that make the tools themselves. The factory nobody talks about. Harbor Freight doesn't manufacture anything. The real work happens inside massive OEM factories across Asia. Picture a sprawling warehouse filled with machines stamping, grinding, assembling. At one end of the line, the parts are branded with the Ryobi logo. At the other, nearly identical pieces get a red casing and a Harbor Freight label. Many technicians have opened Harbor Freight tools only to find the same internal design as much pricier brands, even identical bolts and springs. Some Harbor Freight jacks are built in the same factories that produce Snap-on versions selling for triple the price. So how can two tools from the same factory sell at such different prices? Because Harbor Freight eliminates everything that inflates cost. Advertising, sponsorships, middlemen, fancy packaging, and thick profit margins. They buy direct from factories, rebrand the products, and sell them almost at cost. But this leads to a harder question. If they're made in the same place, are they built to the same standard? This is where Harbor Freight's real secret appears. Their prices aren't magic, they're engineering compromises. A Milwaukee wrench might use a high-grade forged steel, heat-treated for durability. The Harbor Freight equivalent uses a simpler alloy and skips some processing steps to save pennies per unit. Multiply that across millions of tools, and the savings become enormous. It's not necessarily bad steel, just cheaper, lighter, and faster to produce. For a DIY homeowner who only needs it once in a while, it's fine. For a contractor, using it daily, it's risky. Then comes quality control. Premium brands allow maybe a few defects per thousand. Harbor Freight's tolerance is much wider. Slight misalignments or cosmetic flaws still pass inspection. The result? One drill works perfectly for years, the next dies after a weekend project. This strategy shifts the risk to the buyer. If the tool fails, well, it was only $9, or you can buy the extended warranty. Those warranties quietly help offset the cost of lower QC standards. But even after knowing that, customers keep coming back. Why? Because Harbor Freight mastered something deeper than manufacturing. Human psychology.
The psychology of cheap. Walking into Harbor Freight isn't just shopping, it's behavioral science in motion. The lighting, price tags, and coupon flyers all whisper the same thing: you're about to score a deal. The entire store runs on what marketers call the good, better, best system. The cheapest line, Warrior, is bare bones and disposable. Bauer and Quinn sit in the middle, a little pricier but sturdier. Then come Hercules and ICON, the premium lines that mimic top brands. That layout is deliberate. The ultra-cheap tools make the mid-tier ones look like smarter buys, while the premium tier adds credibility to the cheaper ones. It's a psychological trap called the decoy effect, and it works perfectly. Then come the coupons. Harbor Freight's endless 20% off ads aren't really discounts, they're bait. They lure you into the store. Once inside, you start rationalizing. If I'm saving 20% on this, maybe I can grab that too. One shopper put it simply: I went in for pliers, came out with a cart. Harbor Freight doesn't pressure you, it lets you feel like you've outsmarted the system. That feeling of winning is addictive, and it's what keeps customers loyal even when the quality is inconsistent. But there's another secret ingredient to their low prices: where those tools actually come from. The China connection. Look closely at the label of almost any Harbor Freight tool and you'll see three words: Made in China. About 85% of their inventory originates there, from jacks and generators to socket sets and screwdrivers. That's the backbone of their pricing power. Manufacturing in China keeps production costs incredibly low. But it's also their biggest vulnerability. If tariffs or shipping costs rise, Harbor Freight's entire model is threatened. They can't easily absorb higher costs because their profit margins are already razor-thin. To manage that risk, they've started exploring new manufacturing hubs: Mexico, Vietnam, Malaysia, a trend economists call friend-shoring. Still, reproducing the industrial scale China provides isn't easy. For now, their global supply chain is what keeps those prices so shockingly low. But that dependence means one disruption, political, economic, or environmental, could change everything overnight. So with all that behind the scenes, one question remains: which Harbor Freight tools actually hold up and which ones are disasters waiting to happen? What to buy and what to avoid? Let's start with the winners. Pittsburgh hand tools, wrenches, sockets, ratchets, are surprisingly reliable. They come with a lifetime replacement warranty and perform well for both hobbyists and light mechanics. Simple tools without motors or electronics are where Harbor Freight shines. Next are Bauer and Hercules cordless tools. For DIY use, they rival DeWalt or Ryobi in everyday tasks. They're not built for all-day job site abuse, but for home projects, they punch above their price. ICON tools are Harbor Freight's premium play. Solid build, sleek design, and widely respected among car enthusiasts who can't justify snap-on prices. Predator generators and Daytona floor jacks also earn strong reputations. The jacks in particular have cult status because they were once made in the same factory as high-end snap-on models. Now the products to avoid. Skip Warrior power tools. They're underpowered and short-lived, good for one or two small tasks at best. Avoid precision instruments like torque wrenches or gauges. Harbor Freight's relaxed quality control makes them unreliable for serious mechanical work. Stay away from cheap cutting and chisel tools. They're often made from soft steel that dulls or chips quickly. And never gamble with budget jack stands or lifting gear. The risk simply isn't worth the savings. The rule of thumb is simple: if failure could injure you or ruin your project, don't buy the cheapest option.
The final truth: Harbor Freight's secret isn't really a secret. It's a calculated formula. Sell directly from factories, cut every unnecessary cost, use psychology to make buyers feel smart, and then let customers decide how much risk they're willing to take for a bargain. It's a system that turned cheap tools into an $8 billion powerhouse and made one man a billionaire. For casual DIYers, Harbor Freight is a gold mine, a place to get functional tools for a fraction of the price. For professionals, it's a gamble between saving money and losing time. Either way, Harbor Freight has changed how America thinks about value. It proved that cheap can still mean good enough, and that perception is worth billions. So next time you walk through those aisles and feel that rush of finding a deal, remember, it's not luck, it's design.